the draft. Are we buying or are we selling Tyrone Tracy? Tracy had a great year one. He had a bunch of fumbles towards the end of the year that kind of got him into some trouble. He took the job from Devin Singletary, but this team made an investment into a running back that I believe the general public has a pretty high opinion on, and that's Cam Scatterbo. Running back from Arizona State, who kind of carried that team to a playoff run. If you go back and watch his tape, he was fantastic, man. A heck of a player there. I think he's got a high ceiling. He's a 3-down back who's going to have the ability to step in and do anything. He's fantastic out of the backfield. He's just a player that you don't really have a lot of concerns about. Yes, Tracy has the receiving background as well, but Cam Scatterbo had 1,700 rushing yards this past year. He had 21 rushing touchdowns. He had 44 catches out of the air. Like, he's not necessarily got that speed that's going to blow you away. Yes, there's question marks about his 40 time. I don't care. Go watch the tape, man. He runs through people, around people, over people. It doesn't matter. He finds a way to score. There's plenty of times where he gets the ball in his hands and you just stop and go, how the heck does anybody do anything? And he'll gain 5 yards or he'll go and score. It's incredible tape to watch. He's a heck of a player. You're not going to find a person that has more effort than Cam Scatterbo in the backfield. So I think this definitely impacts Tyrone Tracy's value and probably his snaps and his opportunities. I would be selling Tyrone Tracy. I mean, this offseason, we talked about it. It's time to move on. His value got over a first-round pick. People are paying premium price for Tyrone Tracy, and here we go. They already drafted another player. It's going to get murky there, and I think Cam Scatterbo is going to be a guy that could walk away with this job.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there at all. I mean, we're talking about Cam Scatterbo. A lot of people did really like him, liked his tape. Um, he got to the point where people were kind of mocking him pretty high. He was up there with the likes of Judkins and all the guys, maybe not necessarily in the first round, but when people were talking about that, like second round, third round, they, expected him to possibly come off the board there. Um, so it is interesting. He does definitely make the waters a little murky there. Um, I'd probably be holding on to Tracy right now. If I had to pick, I did try to kind of acquire him from you earlier, but it was like a kind of like a fair trade kind of deal, where it was like I was sending Aaron Jones, who, yes, he's still kind of by himself with the Vikings now, but he is getting up there in age. So for me, I'd probably hold him. If you're getting first round picks out of Tyrone Tracy, though, you sell him all day. That's easy value to accrue there, especially for somebody that you think is going to lose opportunities and stuff. I will say this: he was competing with Devin Singletary last year, so he probably got a good portion of the like goal line chances, or he could still house one, from a little ways out. But that being said, I think the goal line work will probably go to Scatterbo because, like you said, he runs hard. He plays faster than his 40 time. Nobody's going to out effort him on the field as far as like running backs or anything like that goes. So he will make every effort to get into the end zone. The one thing that, I am kind of worried about is maybe, like you said, if they make it a committee and it's the Giants. I'm not super in on this offense right now. They did get a new quarterback in Jackson Dart. They still have Malik Neighbors. So maybe they find a way to kind of turn things around. But at this point, most of the time, if you want a running back in a committee, you kind of want like top 10 teams, or at least top half of the league teams in terms of scoring. That kind of is the way those trends kind of work out. Usually those are the guys you want. So for me, I'm probably holding, most likely selling if I have to pick between a buy or sell. And just kind of see where the backfield shakes out in terms of a committee with Scatterbo.
Yeah, I think if it turns to a committee, I honestly think it benefits Scatterbo more than it benefits Tracy. I think he has the ability to do more things. You got to remember, Tracy is a lot like Antonio Gibson, where he made that transition from wide receiver over to running back. And that's not as easy as we make it out to be. Yes, they're great out of the backfield. They can catch the ball. They can make moves in space. But sometimes these guys have fumbling issues. That's the exact same thing that had happened to Antonio Gibson. We saw him get run out of Washington because of that bench several times. Happened with New England too. So I'm not sure that that's a player that I would necessarily want to hitch my wagon to. I think the draft capital of Cam Scatterbo is important.
Ooh.
I mean, again, it's at the beginning of the fourth round. It was an early pick. It was right after Tootin went to Jacksonville.
Mhm.
That's investment that I'm going to pay attention to. Yes, it's a day 3 pick, but it still matters, especially in this situation where we saw Tracy was a day 3 pick himself, and he had immediate
Yep.
impact. So why can't Cam Scadaboo do that?
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Scatterboo was like 105, and I think I looked it up. I think Tracy was like 166. So technically, if you're looking at it, he was picked beforehand, previous to Tracy. So, if you're looking at numbers and you're like, "Ooh, well, they might prefer this guy more or whatever." I do think, like you said, it was a good shout. Being right after Tootin, maybe the Giants looked and were like, "Okay, listen, this guy was. We had both these guys on our board, and Tootin just went, so we feel like we got to take Scatterboo now and not miss out on him." So